Custom formatting is a great way to manipulate the presentation of your data without actually changing the data. Now, many Excel users try to use intermediary steps to change the look of the data, and these steps can generally be avoided with the smart use of custom formatting. The main Excel formatting types are these. You have the general, which is this one, and by choosing general, you basically put it in Excel's hands to guess the best suitable number formatting for your cells. Now, in most cases, it's okay because it recognizes that you input a date or a time, or that you input a number or text. The other types of formatting are specific, like number, currency, accounting, date, time, percentage, and so on. And these are generally self-explanatory. And the best is for last, so all the way on the bottom, you see custom. And this is used to create your own type of formatting. You have a lot of flexibility here. You can add text to your number, you can tell Excel how to display positive numbers, what to do with negative values, and how to deal with your zeros. You also have some limited options on defining the color of your font if it's positive and if it's negative. To understand and work with customized formats, this syntax is what you need to keep in mind. First comes the positive number, so how you want the positive number to be formatted. It's split by this semicolon, then how you want your negative value to be formatted, then 0, and then text. Now, you don't necessarily need to have all of the 4 parts included. So if, for example, you just have the first 2, Excel is going to use the positive number to format your zeros. So keep that in mind. And if you just specify only one formatting, so you don't use semicolons at all, then it applies that formatting to positive and negative values. In the demo workbook, I've included some examples that we can go through to get you familiar with the most important characters that are needed when you design your custom formats. But first, let's just have a quick look at them. So Control 1, or right mouse click Format Cells, and Custom is down here. So let's have a look at what is available. I have these in mind. You can see there is this hash sign or this number sign, and then you have 0 as well. That's your semicolon that splits the positive and negative formatting. Some have the dollar sign. You can see red being used here. Let me just explain you the basics. And the basic is, what's the difference first between this hash sign and the 0? I'm going to create a new formatting with just the hash sign. So you just go to Custom, and here under General, you type, or you can click on an existing one and modify it, which is actually my preferred version when I'm designing my own custom formats. In this case, I'm going to format only with this hash sign. And I say, okay, so that's this cell, and let's input a number 2. Okay, nothing happened. What this sign is that it's just a digital placeholder for your number. A 0 is the same. It's also a digital placeholder for your number. The difference is that the 0 is fixed. It forces your value to be as long as you type in here. Let me just demonstrate. So in this case, I have hash hash. You can do a preview here, so that's 2. But if I change it now to 0, 0, it becomes 0, 2. Okay, so it forces it to be that long, whereas the hash doesn't. The purpose of these are just placeholders for your number. Another placeholder is the question mark. It's not very common. And all the question mark does, you can see if I put 2 times, it adds a space before it for the 0. But it's basically also a placeholder, but it's used mainly if you want to align the decimal places. And we'll get to that in an example up here. The 2 main ones to remember are this number sign, the hash sign, and the 0. The comma is the thousand separator, and the dot will be the decimal. This formatting basically means display commas for every 3 digits. Now let's have a look at expanding on this, and let's say inputting text. If I wanted to add something here, I have to put it in quotation marks. You can see the sample here. What happens is that I see grade 2, but the value in this cell is actually 2. It's still a number, even though it doesn't look like a number anymore. But it is, because I can say this multiplied by 2 is 4. It works. It recognizes it as a number. And that's the good thing about it, because in some cases you might want to add text to your numbers. For example, if you want to show in millions or the currency, but you still want it to be recognized as a number. These are the basics of the custom number formatting. So let's go through our examples to practice some. In this case, we don't want to show 0 values. So I highlight this and I go to Control 1. I can see the first number I have in place, but I will have to leave the custom formatting to see what happens to the other numbers. So let's assume I don't want a thousand separator, I just want a number. This is basically how I want my positive values to be formatted. How do I want my negative to be formatted? With this. And how do I want my 0 to be formatted? I don't want to show it like this. And I say OK, and it's gone. And why? Because the first part is my positive, second part is my negative, third is how zeros should be. So if I wanted the zeros to be like this, I see that. What's the last part? That's text. The placeholder for text is this sign. Generally, you don't have that many options. If there are certain things you want to add to your text, you can put it here in quotation marks. So like hello, and then your text. So in case you have text in there, it will add a hello to it. So let's say OK, and let's change this to there, and it's hello there. Even though it's only there, but because of our formatting, whenever it says text, it adds hello to it. You can leave it empty if you don't want to format text in any special way. This would be the formatting for this. Next, we want to align the decimal places here. That's when we can use the question mark for this. And here we can say the first one is the number, then it's a dot, and let's say we want to align based on this one, so I put 3 question marks, and OK. You can see they're all aligned where the decimal is. Here we want to add 2 trailing zeros before this number, which is something we might need to do if we want to load our numbers to another system, and Excel always strips them off, unless you format them as text. To make them look like they have 2 trailing zeros, what do you need to do here? You can say 0, 0, and 3 zeros. Next, we want to get this effect. We want our positive numbers to be formatted as green, our negative to be shown in brackets, the 0 as a 0. This is where we can use the square brackets red and green. Let's have a look at this formatting. We have the thousand separator, so I can start with this one. For my positive number, I want it to be green. And all you have to do is to put square brackets here and type in green and close the square bracket. Then you have your number. That's how it should be when it's positive. When it's negative, I want it to be in brackets. I put the brackets, and then I can copy the same number form in here and close brackets. And what do I want for zeros? Just normal 0. So if I don't do anything, let's just leave it like this and see what we get. See, 0 is green. If I don't want that, I actually have to specify what I want for 0, and I just want a 0. If I wanted this to be red, all I have to do is add red right here. I generally don't like Excel's default green. The red is fine, but the green is too bright. So you have more options. So let's go pick our format, and your formatting is memorized is down here. So we use this one. So instead of green, you can put color 10. And that's a better green. How do you know these codes? I have the link for you here. So you click this, you come to this link, and you have the color index that you can use to get the color you want. Now, if you've noticed, some of Excel's formatting have this underscore with the bracket. What this means is that the values shouldn't touch the cell. There should be just a little bit of space between them and the border. Let me show you. If I want to add a space right after this, I will put this underscore and the bracket. So now watch this. They moved a bit. And you can do it from both sides, because now it's just one-sided. If I have it this way, they're stuck there. So if I go back and do it before, now it's also not stuck to the border. You can apply the same thing for negative values as well. You just then need a double bracket. So let's apply the formatting to this one. And then let's go back. And here you just need to add it before the bracket and then after the bracket. Now from this side and this side. Next, we're going to look at how we can create a custom format for millions. So let's say we have this table. This is our volume, that's our revenue, and we want to show the price here. But we want these cells to look like 300 and M in it. So what I can do to format numbers for millions or thousands is to come here. We can pick one of our basic ones. Let's go with this one. To show this in thousands, all I have to do is to add 1 comma. To show it in millions, to add 2 commas. See, it strips off the zeros. And then I can even put a text in it. They are all formatted to look like this, but in reality, this number is actually 300 million. And my formula still works because it recognizes this as 300 million. In our last example, we want to create a custom format that shows our currency on the left-hand side of the cell. The currencies should be aligned, just like you see in the screenshot here, and the numbers should be on the right-hand side. Maybe we can check what we have here under currency. We have the dollar. Let's check for euro. Here it is. We can take that and take away the decimal and say OK. Now, I don't want the minus values to look like this. Let's go and change the custom formatting of this. Now you can see that's the formatting it's applying right now. I want to change that. It doesn't matter in this case, but I want to put it like this. It's just a bit cleaner. For the positive values, I'm fine with this. For negative, I don't want my negative sign to be here. So I'm going to change that. And basically, I just have to copy this and put minus here. That looks better. But I still haven't aligned it yet because I want the euro to be on this side. The trick for aligning is to use the multiply sign. And you make sure there's a space. What this operator does is that it repeats the next symbol, and the next symbol here is just empty, is nothing. It repeats it to fill the cell. And we want our cell to be filled with emptiness between euro and between our number. I'm going to copy that, put it also here. Now you see you get this nice format. I can add on to the formatting as I want. I can add also green to this. And if it's negative, it should be red. And maybe in brackets. If it's a 0, show nothing. So now let's have a 0, it's nothing. And all this flexibility you get with custom formatting. Here you can find the list of the characters that you can use in custom formatting along with their descriptions. You can print this out and have it handy whenever you're creating new custom formats. And now it's time for the exercise.